My congratulations to Ivor and the team on the launch of the New South Institute. It's an extraordinarily important initiative and intervention to ensure that we can safeguard our democracy.
I think there's no doubt that our democracy, the notion of democracy, the principles of democracy around the globe is at peril. And there's a consequence for us not paying attention to the signs and to the consequences of this. I'm very pleased to be part of what seems to be a really important initiative for South Africa, for the Global South.
My view is that it's an excellent initiative. It should complement the formal governance processes, but also help with other stakeholders in strengthening the voice against corruption, against state capture, towards achieving the goals that we have set out in 1994.
In order to have really meaningful change, there needs to be a level of political will. But really looking forward to seeing the work that will come out of the New South Institute.
I think we are at a very critical juncture in the world now, where the voices of the developing world, of the global south, are now becoming much more assertive. So I think this is a very critical engagement, it's a very welcome engagement, setting up this new institute, because in order for voices from the south to gain global prominence, it's important that there's a collaboration between intellectuals and institutions of the South. And I think, and for me, this is a very important initiative, and I wish it well.
I'm very glad to have been given the opportunity to work with dynamic minds that sit on the board to try and make a difference in the country about, policy transformation and making sure that we hold people to account at the end of the day. So I'm quite excited to be part of this team. And I think the launch went extremely well. We've got a lot of support out there, and this type of work is work that I think quite a lot of people are yearning for it to happen.
I think clearly the signs in society at the moment is that government is failing, society is failing, with the repeated failures we are seeing and the impact on citizens, and this ultimately leads down to a breakdown of the total state. So I think it's important for like-minded individuals, professionals to be inspired by this launch and to be wanting to join forces so that as a collective we can help in turning around the dire situation in the country.
What I think there must be growing realization amongst people on the street is that many of the issues that affect their daily lives are issues related to the way government works, and they need to be much more circumspect around the kinds of people they elect into office, and to pay much more attention to debates and discussions around the way organizations are structured, designed, resourced.
All over the world we see conflicts that have broken out around problems of service delivery, around inequality, around poverty. Even if those conflicts manifest themselves sometimes as ethnic tensions, as religious tensions, as extremist violence, underlying them in a lot of cases are problems of exclusion that speak to the exhaustion of existing models of democratic governance and the need for us to rethink democracy in a critical way that will enable it to be much more meaningful in terms of a reinvented social contract between state and society.
The launch was brilliant. It needed to happen. I think we need an institution like the New South Institute to undertake the work that they want to undertake.
I think this is the time which we can make tremendous headway, and I'm very excited about being part of that. And I think there are many people who agree with us, of course, and we're able to rally both South Africans but also like-minded people from the rest of the continent and elsewhere in what we're calling the New South, including South America, Eastern Europe and other parts of the continent. So the New South Institute really is we're focused on institution building, developing around policy making, around institution building in a whole range of areas, public service reform. We're doing a lot of work on migration, both in South Africa and on the continent. We're doing a lot of work on welfare reform, policing and intelligence work. We're about to release a new big report on policing, and then a lot of international comparative work.
What NSI brings to the table to really look at these processes, identify what's not working, and find a way to make it work so that we're better off at the end of the day. And I'm very happy to be part of that kind of agenda.
And I have no doubt that many of us are going to put our shoulder to the wheel to assist him in achieving his objectives. They are absolutely critical if South Africa is A, to achieve its potential, and B, to ward off some of the challenges that it's currently experiencing. I wish them all the very best.